Hello students, this is CA Pragnesh Kanabar and welcome to the very first lecture of CA Final Audit regular course in 100% English delivery. Alright, just 1 minute I'll just speak about myself and then I will straight away come to the discussions of the course. So I am a senior audit faculty at CA Final and CA Inter level in the 10th year post my qualification with this whole experience in front of you, and I've spent all of these years coaching CA Final students across India, UAE, Nepal. Alright, and on a lower side I would have at least mentored 1 lakh plus students. My students have scored All India first in audit subject multiple times at CA Final and CA Inter level, and Institute has officially presented them with Best Paper Awards. I also have students, apart from the rank holders, I also have students who have converted their 25 into 55 after joining this coaching classes, and all of these verified feedbacks are also there on our YouTube channel. We have officially filled up Google Forms by the students. You can always ask our audit team, our student executive team, and they will be more than happy to share it with you. Okay, so that's enough blah 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 about me, because little bit you should know from whom you are going to learn this particular audit subject. Now, this is online medium of coaching. Otherwise, I also have a face-to-face class in Mumbai in a very prime location at Andheri. If at all you visit Mumbai, then do let me know. It would be great to share a cup of tea and coffee with you. Okay, now, when we talk about CA Final Audit new syllabus, all right, which is applicable from May 24 onwards. When we look at the whole module that has been uploaded by the ICAI, all right, if you go to the website of the ICAI, you will see 3 modules that they have uploaded. All right, it is divided into 7 and 5 chapters, something like that. Okay, total 19 chapters that we see in those 3 modules, and out of those 11 chapters are dealing with standards on auditing. I mean auditing standards, little bit you have studied at inter CA level, and 8 chapters are dealing with topics other than standards. Now, when we talk about my study material, all right, it's a brand new material developed completely as per the new syllabus. Many professors, unfortunately, in order to deliver lectures to the students very fast, to earn that particular revenue amount, all right, what they have done is they have just copy pasted old syllabus lectures and given to the students. Whereas I have created a complete new material for you, all right, in line with the ICAI syllabus, and I am giving these lectures to you, and this is a completely fresh, proper new recording. Don't worry about it. Okay, now coming to my material, there are 2 books. One book is dealing completely with standards, all right, and when you look at that particular book, there are 46 standards which are covered in the 11 chapters of the ICAI module. And when you go inside, there are first few pages are just to touch up with inter CA some basic concepts and stuff, which is very necessary to understand the language and to get the grip over the topics. All right, and after these basic concepts are over, one by one the standard begins. All right, and when you go into the standard, when you look at the question bank, all right, the question bank has past examination questions. The question bank has some questions which have been crafted by me, all right, touching some really sensitive areas. All right, so don't worry about it at all. All the ICAI module questions, past examination questions, and some questions which ICAI has never touched upon, but I really feel that it can be a part of your paper. Those questions have been personally crafted by me and have been incorporated in the textbook. All right. The unique part of regular courses that you will find the content over here, and you will also find lots of space for notes writing. So when you just look at the first page of the book, you will feel like, oh my God, 500 pages is the first book. All right, my God. And when you look over there, okay, then there is another 400 pages or so of the second book, which is dealing with non-standards. Oh shit. But don't worry. Actually, there are a lot of blank spaces inside the book, all right, where we are going to write the notes and stuff. Okay, so what happens is on the day of exams, you have the content with you, then you have the notes over here with you. All right, so quickly you can refer the notes, and if there are some references which I give from the content over here, all right, then you can just read that and quickly you can refer my markings. And the whole target, the whole intention is that when you come to the last 1.5 days in the exams, you feel very comfortable, all right, and you should not be depressed that, oh my God, I'm not able to cover stuff. Okay, now there are some students of May 24 November 24 cycle who took lectures with me before the new syllabus was announced, all right, because they had started well in advance. then let me tell you around 75% to 80% portion remains the same. But even for those students, I am going to compare line by line with the module, the new modules, and give them the recall lectures, all right, so that they don't feel missed out. It's not like just because you have taken admission from me, oh my god, it was long back, and oh my god, now I should not be concerned about them. I know that revenue is done. No. I strongly believe that in our profession, money is the byproduct. The main product is whether the student is getting satisfied or not, and then money just flows in the profession as a byproduct. Okay, I will remind you again, these lectures are in 100% English delivery, alright, mainly focused on South India students, alright, because they have a little bit problem with Hindi language, which I can understand. I have spent a lot of time in Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad and stuff, so I can understand that. If you're looking for Hindi English mix, then there are separate lectures, separate demo lectures and stuff, all available on YouTube, alright. You can just go through that and inquire about that from my team, and they will be more than happy, alright, to inform you about that. Okay, now, so when it comes to the study material that I have given you, it is a whole and soul material. Alright. So I do not think that you should be worried about, okay, beyond this, what am I supposed to do? If at all ICI comes up with something new or beyond this, what you're supposed to do and stuff, alright, then you stay in touch with my Telegram channel, and I'll be more than happy to inform you about that. Okay, these lectures that I am recording as of now will easily continue till November 24, alright, and if there is no change, then it will continue for further attempts also, but till November 24 it is completely updated, and you should not be worried about that. If there is any new further update, like RTP and all of that, alright, then I will cover it, okay, and separately the videos will be given for that. Just stay in touch with our ecosystem, that is on YouTube, Telegram channel and everywhere. Okay, chalo. Now students, please come to the very first page. Alright, the preface. There I have written something which I think you should just read it once to get a feel of what is this course and what you're going to do. Alright. Apart from that, if you just look at this index of this particular book 1, alright, book 2 is non-standard. If you just look at the index of this particular book 1, you will find that I have given all of these standards. Alright. These standards are covering 11 chapters of the ICAI module, the first 11 chapters. I repeat, the first 11 chapters. Okay, chalo. Straight away I cannot start with standards. I straight away cannot start with every individual standard. I need to ensure that you are feeling warmed up, and you should feel that, okay boss, I will be able to cover it. Alright, and for that it is very important that you attend my intro lecture properly. Alright, so this particular intro lecture will get you into the scheme of things, and then we will move ahead. Let me tell you, just for you to focus, that in lots of topics, Institute has clearly said that they are going to ask application based questions. That means the logic, the concept, the flow charts, all of that is going to help. It is no more just that inter-CA syllabus where you can just look at the last line of the question, and then whether you know those 5 points, out of those 5 you write 2-3 points and score marks. Some school type approach was adopted in inter-CA for few chapters. That is not the case now. Alright, you can bring in the doubts from your practical life, and I'll be more than happy. That is the reason that you should study from an experienced professor, because from all of these years in the last decade, whatever doubts students have asked, alright, those doubts I'll be more than happy to share it with you. Alright, so I am almost aware about every single doubt that student can ask. But if at all apart from that, if you have more doubts, alright, then in that case, always WhatsApp doubt solving, Zoom sessions and stuff, that keeps on happening. Alright, you can always get in touch with my admin team, and they will guide you how to personally get in touch with me for subject oriented doubts. For admin doubts, you can still continue to have a word with my admin team. Alright, because I'm paying them good salary to do that job. Chalo. Now everyone over here. This is just a reconciliation which I've given, that how 11 chapters of the first 11 chapters of the ICA module, how they cover different standards. Alright. Okay. Now, obviously I want to start with some introduction to standards and basic concepts and stuff. Alright. So I hope you are completely ready. I'm also ready, and let us rock this particular discussion. Okay. Chalo. Now everyone over here. In India, you have to write this along with me. Yeah? In India, you have the ICAI. The ICAI has created Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. Alright. And this Auditing and Assurance Standard Board issues AAS, which is nothing but Auditing and Assurance Standards. Alright. And these AAS are called as engagement and quality control standards. Are called as what? Engagement and quality control standards. This is what happens in India. Alright. When you look at the global level scenario, so at the global level, you have IFAC, International Federation of Accountants. IFAC has created IAASB, International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. Alright. And they issue International Auditing and Assurance Standards, which are called as International Engagement and Quality Control Standards. Now, the ICAI, alright, is a member. The ICAI is a member of IFAC. So, obviously, whatever is issued by the IFAC, we adopt and issue it as per Indian laws and Indian customs. Alright. And that is the reason that whatever standards you are going to study from me, these same standards are there in US CPA course also. Alright, or you can, when you talk about ACCA, you will find lots of similar things over there also. Alright, so you are basically studying an international topic from a Desi faculty, from a local faculty. You are studying international topic. Alright, so students, in order to, if you have this intention of adding some foreign courses into your profile, all right, obviously you should stay more focused, all right, not only to clear chartered accountancy, but this will help in other subjects also. It can bring down the coaching fees of other subjects. For audit you may not need any coaching if you stay focused over here. Okay, now this is a little bit of background that I gave you for you to understand that from where we are deriving this topic of auditing and assurance standards. All right, so this background I've written it over here also, but this is not something that you have to by heart. All right, wherever things are such that you may have to memorize and stuff, I will give you all star markings and memorize and stuff. I'll write over there. Right? This particular background is just a read once discussion. This particular background is just a read once discussion. Okay, sure. So you have this whole timeline that I've given over here. You can just read it once. No need to by heart. All right. International Federation of Accountants first created IAPC, International Auditing Practices Committee, but that was then converted into IAASB, International Auditing Assurance Standard Board. ICAI is a member of IFAC, and hence we have to implement whatever standards are issued by them as per the Indian laws and Indian customs. All right. Okay. My system is on the left hand side, so I just keep looking over there so that there are no issues in the video. All right. Okay. Now everyone over here, let us understand this whole jargon of engagement and quality control standards. All right. Listen to me very carefully. The whole engagement and quality control standards. Right? If you can please come to page number 7. Okay. Auditing and assurance standards, or you can call them as engagement and quality control standards. These standards are divided into 5 categories. Very important for you to stay focused over here. SQC1, SA, SRE, SAE and SRS. I mean SQC1 I just said because in SQC we have only one standard. That is why SQC1. Okay. So in SQC we have one standard. In SA we have 38. In SRE we have 2. In SAE we have 3, and in SRS we have 2 standards. So you can see 38 plus 1, 39, 41, 44 and 46 standards. Sir, this short form is fine, but when are you going to tell us the full form and the meaning? Obviously, I just did this so that you are comfortable that okay, there are 5 categories. Now, every single category has some purpose. SQC, the full form is Standards on Quality Control. Full form of SQC is Standards on Quality Control. That means this category is just like your parents, Even if you are 5 children, the instruction given by the parents are the same. You please don't eat biscuit if someone offers you. Alright. So SQC is like, no matter whatever assignment you are doing practicing chartered accountant, alright, there are some general quality control measures which are to be adopted, alright. And these quality control measures are over there, like maintain ethics, maintain your documents and all of that, alright. So some quality control measures to be adopted are over there. Okay. SA. Full form of SA is Standards on auditing. No, you need to write this. You need to write this. Only then you will get the mood of studying. All right. You cannot just sit on your bed and just look at the lecture. No. That is not how final CA is correct. Now, SA stands for Standards on Auditing. Standards on Auditing is only and only for audit of historical financial statements. Sir, why you have written this historical financial statements? See, first, why I have written audit of financial statements? I mean, why I have written this audit of this so and so particular audit? See, accounting standards, no matter whatever accounts you're preparing, accounting standards, basic principles are applicable everywhere. Right? So for accounts, you have accounting standards. Likewise, you can't say for audit, you have standards auditing. Because audit, there are lots of audits, in practical life you may be doing it. Stat audit, internal audit, concurrent audit, tax audit, this audit, that audit, idli audit, sambar audit. Standards on auditing are only and only for audit of historical financial statements. That means the stat audit that you're doing. Or it may be a voluntary assignment also, but whenever someone is asking you to audit their financial statements, the balance sheet and P&L, it is called as historical financial statements, because that history is already done now, and they have prepared balance sheet and P&L upon that, and you are going to audit it. Right? So audit of historical financial statements, only this particular assignment is covered in standards on auditing. I repeat, only this particular assignment is covered in standards on auditing, no other assignments. It could be statutory, voluntary, whatever it is. Alright. So in exams, if you get a question on audit of prospective financial statements, that means, when company wants to raise investments, alright. So they will obviously project their financial position that in the next 5 years we are going to earn this, we are going to earn that. That is called as projected financial information or prospective financial information. If you get an audit of that particular information which is projected, it is not covered in standards on auditing. So then where is it covered? I will talk about it, don't worry. But I want a confirmation. Are you clear that standards auditing are dealing only and only with audit of historical financial statements? Very good. Alright. Then when we talk about SRE, that is nothing but standards on review engagement. Alright. Sir, what is this category dealing with? Obviously, yes, I'll let you know about it. If you are an auditor of listed entity, if you are in your articleship, and if you are conducting audit of listed entity, then you know that every quarter you have to visit that particular company, alright, and you do something called as LR. LR means limited review. Even if you are not doing that in articleship, then please hear me out. In case of audit of listed entities, SEBI wants auditor to visit every quarter. Alright, at least quarterly results are announced. Alright. So SEBI wants auditor to visit every quarter and just conduct a limited examination. Every quarter, a detailed examination is not possible. Alright. So just conduct some limited examination and give some limited assurance. Alright. Not a very high level of assurance, like how we give in audit with to the best of our knowledge and information available with us. We hereby express our opinion that financial statements are showing a true and fair view. Not such level of assurance. At least SEBI wants to know that there is nothing wrong in the accounts. Everything is fine. That kind of English they don't want. At least there is nothing wrong, which is called as a very limited, moderate level of assurance. And that is SRE, Standards on Review Engagement. Alright. Dealing with review of historical financial information. Dealing with review of historical financial statements. Review means a very limited level of examination. Students, here comes your first examination question. Welcome to CA Final Audit. Difference between SA and SRE. Because both of them are dealing with historical financial statements. One says audit, the other one says review. Alright. So listen to me very carefully. I have printed all of this over here. See, first I have given 5 categories. SQC, SA, SRE, SA, SRS. That is fine. But look at this first critical note. Difference between audit and review. Everyone over here, come on. See, when we talk about assurance, what is the meaning of the word assurance? That you are going to rely upon my opinion. Basically, I am giving you something upon which you can trust. Alright. Now, assurance, where you have absolute assurance. Absolute assurance is not applicable. It is not possible, boss. Because all practicing chartered accountants, they are suffering from some kind of limitations, inherent limitations. Alright, unavoidable limitations. Then you have something called as reasonable assurance. What is reasonable assurance? High level of assurance, but not a guarantee. That is what you have studied in Inter-CA. That auditing is a reasonable assurance. High level of assurance, but not a guarantee. That is why we say, in audit report, we hereby express our opinion to the best of our knowledge and information available with us that financial statements are showing a true and fair view. All right? Then you have something called as limited assurance. Tell me, I'm assuming that, let us say your name is Ajay. All right. Ajay is a good boy. Statement 1. Statement 2. Ajay is not a bad boy. Which one makes you feel better? Come on, feel as if a live lecture is going on. Which one makes you feel better? The first one. That Ajay is a good boy. Second one just says that Ajay is not bad. Whether he is good or not, I don't know, but at least not bad. That is exactly the English used in limited assurance in a review report. All right. This is where review activity comes into picture. And reasonable assurance is where audit activity comes into picture. So in review, we clearly say that nothing has come to our knowledge which indicates that financial statements are materially misstated. That means as of now, we have not found anything wrong, all right, with the limited examination that we have conducted. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So reasonable assurance, limited assurance, and then the last one is no assurance. Some consultancy certification assignments where you don't have to express an opinion, where you don't have to, give trust to the other person. You may just give some consultancy, some assistance, that's it. Right? I'll talk about that later on. But I want you to understand that auditing is a reasonable assurance activity, whereas review is a very limited assurance activity. Achha, now 2 minutes for English grammar. 2 minutes for English grammar. Okay. When I say Ajay is a good boy, that is positive way of describing Ajay. When I say Ajay is not a bad boy, alright, that is a negative way of describing Ajay. So everyone over here, audit mein, when we clearly say that we hereby express our opinion to the best of our knowledge and information available with us, that financial statements show a true and fair view, alright, that is positive way of describing Ajay. I mean financial statements. So obviously auditing is a positive assurance. Whereas in review, when I say nothing has come to our knowledge which indicates that financial statements are materially misstated, that is a negative way of describing the financial statements. And that is why in review we say it is a negative assurance. Am I clear with this? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look at this. Audit involves reasonable assurance. It means highest level of assurance but not a guarantee. Report is provided in the form of positive assurance. Example of positive assurance: to the best of our knowledge and information available with us, we hereby express our opinion that financial statements of the entity have been prepared in all material respects in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework and shows a true and fair view of the state of affairs. Basically, we are clearly saying that these financial statements show a true and fair view. Alright, review involves limited examination, moderate level of assurance. Report is provided in the form of negative assurance. Alright, example of negative assurance: look at this, this English, focus on this. Based on our review, limited examination, based on few days that I've spent with Ajay, I feel Ajay is not a bad boy. Right? So nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that accompanying financial information does not give a true and fair view. Does not give a true and fair view. Nothing has come to our attention. Okay. That means it may be giving a true and fair view, but I'm not giving that clearly in writing. Ajay may be a good boy, but I'm not saying that clearly in writing. Little bit of English here and there is fine, but this main grammar should not change when we are talking about difference between audit and review. I want a confirmation. Are you clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very, very important note: difference between audit and review. Best practical example of review: review of quarterly financial information as mandated by SEBI in case of listed entities. Okay. Now, next is SAE. Standards on assurance engagement. There are 3 standards in this, and unfortunately all 3 are dealing with something different. That means I cannot do a down arrow and just give you one particular standard explanation for this. But I can tell you one thing for sure, that in this essay category there are 3 assignments, different assignments. In all 3 assignments, we are checking something, we are expressing an opinion, and client and the other stakeholders are going to rely upon it. But one thing is for sure, that we are not dealing with historical financial statements. That means 3 assignments, all 3 dealing with information other than historical financial statements. I can give you 2 examples. All three I cannot explain in the intro lecture, but at least I can give you two examples. That company issues prospectus, audit of prospectus, that is SAE 3420. Right? Then company may issue future financial statements, projected financial information, audit of that, SAE 3400. There is one more 3402, but that introduction itself takes 50 minutes, and as of now it is not required. This is just intro lecture. I am just getting in the mood of things, in the scheme of things. All right. So what is the one explanation that I can write over here? What is the one explanation that I can write over here? All right. That boss, it deals with audit of information other than historical financial statements. Audit of information other than historical financial statements. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very good. Now, everyone over here. The last category, that is SRS. Right down there. I am writing with a different thing because it's very different. Standards on related services. Okay, let us say I am your client and you are a practicing CA, not my auditor. You are a practicing CA. I am requesting you, hey practicing CA, hey practicing CA, whoever is listening over here, he or she, sir or madam, all right, can you please help me in sorting out my admissions of various batches and stuff, and what is the validity, and I've taken so much of fees for renewal, this, that and stuff. I'm very much confused. Can you help me in that? SRS. Standards on related services. Hey practicing CA, all right, can you just give me a certification on stock? So certification is not expressing an opinion and stuff. In practical life, sometimes client says that they want a certification, and then they end up giving you the whole assurance assignment in 10,000 rupees. All right, that is a fraud basically. As per the module, certification work is just that. Okay, you have a stock of 10 rupees. I am giving you a certificate of 10 rupees. That's it. I have not visited and checked the stock, and I have not conducted test of control, state of details, nothing. In the module, the word certificate just means prima facie verification of the facts. And in that, I am not going to conduct a detailed examination and give you an opinion and stuff. No. Not even a limited assurance. No. All right. So, in this particular category, there are two standards. But both of them have one thing very clear, that there is no assurance activity involved. There is no assurance activity involved. These are some sundry procedures as agreed upon with the client. There are some sundry procedures as agreed upon with the client, but checking and expressing an opinion on which the client and the stakeholders and all of them will rely upon it and stuff. No. That kind of activity is not involved over here. The more you get into each category, the more you will understand. I can understand as of now you may have lots of doubts. So what about this category? So what about this? So in my practical life, I'm doing this, sir, I'm doing that. Do not worry. When I get into every single category, you will feel much better. All right. This is just an initial touch-up for you to understand that engagement and quality control standards are divided into 5 categories: SQC, SA, SRE, SAE, SRS. All right. I've written the full form of all of these categories, and I've also written the meaning of what they are dealing with. And the major takeaway from here was difference between audit and review. Auditing is a reasonable assurance activity, all right, whereas review is a very limited assurance activity, moderate level of examination. And next takeaway was SRS. In SRS category, there is no assurance activity. You know that when you go for your paper, there are broadly 3 types of questions that you will face. One is a very big case study and 5 questions on that case study. That case study will touch upon 15 to 20 different concepts, all right, and you may have to think about all of them and then give the answers of those 5 MCQs. Second, individual MCQs, all right, where there will be one small MCQ on a particular area, and independently there will be some 10-15 MCQs over there. Third category of question is the descriptive answers. In descriptive answers also there are 2 categories. One is application based questions, which I am expecting around more than 50% questions to be application based, as given by the ICI in the outline for the new syllabus. And the balance 40%, 30%, 35, 40% or so could be your theory based questions, all right, where you just have to mug up and write, all right, where there are some topics also dealing with that, but don't worry, I'll make it easier for you over there. Wherever there is logic, we will go with a very detailed explanation. And where things are just that you have to write few points, all right, and you will get the marks. We'll do a little bit of coding and stuff along with the logics, but we'll do a little bit of coding and we'll move ahead. Also, there is a different technique for different set of topics. But why I was giving you this background? Because I hope you can understand that this particular categories could be their favorite for MCQs. I mean, just this initial level MCQ, alright, and individual MCQs and stuff. That reasonable assurance is given in SA, limited assurance SRE. SAE I cannot define reasonable assurance, limited assurance, because in every single standard there is something different that is dealing with that. Right? SRS, one thing is very clear, that there is no assurance activity. Alright? So you need to be a little bit worried about this. Alright? So this is particular RA, reasonable assurance. You can just write the full form. My ink is little thicker, so it may not fit on this particular place. LA, limited assurance, and this is NA, no assurance. Correct? Okay. So I hope you have written the notes. You can pause the video if not written it. Very good. Chalo. Now everyone over here, I am assuming as if you are sitting live in front of me, alright, because I have taken n number of live batches. I keep on taking live batches. In Mumbai, I don't get the opportunity to take the live batch for 100% English course, alright, because students over here prefer Hindi English mix, alright, although their English is great, but still a little bit of Mumbai style. So that is why this English 100% English are in-house recordings, alright. But I have enough experience of live lectures, enormous experience to deal with all types of doubts. Don't worry about it. So I'm just assuming that Ajay, you are sitting in front of me, alright. Okay. Now everyone over here, engagement and quality control standards classification, SQC, SA, SRE, SAE, and SRS, alright. And as you can see, whatever I have given over here, alright, is just represented over here. The only thing which I have not touched upon is this numerical, the numerical, the numbers and the group of numbers, covered under each category. Now let me tell you, SQC has been given slots of 1 to 99, although only one standard has been issued, alright. But this is international numbering. So SQC1 in India is ISQC1 at the global level, alright, as given by the International Federation of Accountants. When we talk about SA, that is standards on auditing, alright, 100 to 999 is the slot given, alright. And there are different categories and all of them have some meaning, but as of now, no need to buy at this, right? You can read this later. Once I finish the standards, automatically you will understand about each series. For example, from your interest, at least to remember that 500 series was dealing all with evidence. So you may remember this for sure. 700 series was dealing with audit report. Alright. At least a little bit idea you have. Where said once I'm done with the standards, automatically understand which series is dealing with what type of work. Alright. So relax on that. So we need to do a little bit of smart work. Alright. Okay. So don't worry about the numbers as of now. Otherwise, all other details I have covered in this particular discussion, in this particular small note which I have given over here. So you can also give yourself a reminder note on page number 7, something like that. Alright, so that you're quick. Okay. Now, okay, SRS category has no assurance. That also I have discussed with you. Now there is something which was printed in the inter-CA module, not printed in the final CA module. But I really feel that you should be aware about it because these references will be used while conducting various discussions. Listen to me very carefully. When you go to the ICI website, you will see sometimes they've printed, they come up with statement on XYZ matter. Then sometimes they will come up with guidance note on ABC matter. So whenever on the ICI website you see that they have published statement for something, alright, or when you see that they have published guidance note on something, alright, then what does it mean? Are we supposed to compulsorily follow it? Or we have an option of not following it? Alright. Okay, everyone over here. Whenever institute comes out with statements, alright, listen to me. Just do this. ICI will issue statements. ICI will issue guidance notes. Alright. Whenever they come out with statements, we will have statements on accounting matters, statement on auditing matters. Correct? And when they come out with guidance notes, we will have guidance note on accounting matters, We will have guidance note on auditing matters. Correct? Institute is not going to talk about Constitution of India, right? So they will come out either with accounting matters or they'll come out with auditing matters. Now, whenever they come out with a statement, I repeat, whenever they come out with a statement, I repeat, whenever they come out with a statement, that means you have to compulsorily follow it. Whenever they come out with a statement, that means you have to compulsorily follow it. All right. Statements have been issued with a view to securing compliance by the members. All right. Statements therefore are mandatory. I don't want you to remember every single line, but statements are mandatory. Now, little bit of common sense, please. Statements on accounting matters. Idhar dekho. Statements on accounting matters. Whenever they come out with a statement on accounting matter, who needs to follow that? Management or the auditor? Management. Auditor will check whether management has followed it or not. And if management has not followed it, then somewhere we will have to write it in our audit report. Which paragraph, which opinion, all of that we'll do later on. Alright? So look at this. Statement on accounting matters. As an auditor, what is your duty? To examine whether statements relating to accounting matters are complied with or not in the presentation of financial statements. In the event of any deviation from such statements, deviation means non-compliance, not following. It is the duty of the auditor to make adequate disclosures in their audit report so that users of financial statements may be aware of such deviations. Perfect. And when we talk about statement on auditing matters, as an auditor, you need to follow it. But tell me everyone, I need to discuss something very sensitive over here. As an auditor, if you are not able to follow statement on auditing matter, first of all, you don't have a choice. You have to follow it. But then let us talk about lockdown situations, pandemic situations. Then because of severe restrictions, we were not able to go for physical verification of inventory. Then we had to go for virtual verification, right? Now, institute actually requires your physical attendance. It was not possible. Then, because it was not possible, not because of your mood swings, because of the government restrictions, then we had to go for virtual verification. So, exceptionally, sometimes it may so happen that due to unavoidable circumstances, we are not able to follow the statement on auditing matter. Then please perform some alternate procedure. And that is called as departing. Departing is not violation, beta. Departing is you are doing something different. And if you are doing something different, materially different from what is given in the statement, like you have to go for physical verification inventory, you did virtual verification, that is materially different thing that you are doing. Then it is your duty to highlight it in the audit report. Everyone over here, to ensure that statements relating to auditing matters are followed in the audit of financial information covered by their audit reports. If for any reason a member has not been able to perform an audit in accordance with such statements, his report should draw attention to the material departures therefrom. Material departures is nothing but performing materially alternate procedure. Performing materially alternate procedure. All of this is going to help me, when I am teaching. Performing materially alternate procedure. Alright, listen to me now. So just to give you a summary, because I am on digital iPad, so I can add this particular page. Right? You can just use a sticky note or something like that. As for this is just a spontaneous note that I am giving. That is why I don't have a dedicated space for writing this. Right? So basically, when we talk about statements on accounting matter or on auditing matter, on accounting matter, if there is a deviation, means non-compliance with the statement, then obviously auditor should highlight such deviation in audit report. Auditor should highlight such deviation in audit report. If there is a statement on auditing matter, but see, in auditing matter, physically you have to go and do a lot of things, no? So there is a possibility that you are not able to do it because of practical constraints. Accounts, you cannot say I am not able to apply my mind because of practical problems. Alright. Accounts, they have to prepare an Excel, you cannot say that I am not able to do this. Alright. Okay. So everyone over here, when it comes to statements on auditing matter, there are two possibilities. If there is a deviation Deviation means non-compliance. Then what will happen? Then you will be held guilty under CA Act 1949. Let us say it was perfectly possible to visit for you physically, but you were not in the mood that day. You had some mood swings, that is why you are not able to visit. Alright. Then please, institute will also have some mood swing. Alright. And you will be held guilty under CA Act 1949. Okay. Now everyone over here. Statements on auditing matter. If there is a material departure, when I use the English material departure, that means you are performing something different. Materially alternate procedures due to unavoidable circumstances. Sorry for that, I am writing very fast, that is why. If there is a material departure, that means materially alternate procedure due to unavoidable, I will say it 2 times so that you can write it, due to unavoidable circumstances. In that case, institute will not hold you guilty, but at least they want you to highlight it in your audit report. Then highlight it in audit report. At least that is what they want you to do. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Okay, this is what I have taught you on statements. Now, because you are doing some working with me, you can take one more sticky note, or you can just keep few full-scape pages if at all the space in the book is not enough to write. Alright. When we talk about guidance note, see, statements are always mandatory, right? But when we talk about guidance notes are by default recommendatory, unless otherwise specified by the ICAB, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. See, I told you these lectures are latest. Guidance notes are recommendatory unless otherwise specified by the ICAI. Now listen to me very carefully. What do you understand by the word recommendatory? So recommendatory means if we want to follow, we will follow, otherwise we will not follow. As simple as that. That is recommendatory. Like if I recommend Goa to my friend, not necessary that friend will go to Goa. Friend can go to Agra also. That is not the meaning of recommendatory over here. Normal English meanings, for few words they don't apply in audit subject. Then qualified opinion is an opinion issued by qualified person. Everyone over here listen to me. The word recommendatory itself also means that normally you are supposed to follow the guidance given in the guidance note unless there are exceptional circumstances where you are allowed to follow your own judgment. But if you are following your own judgment, you should have valid reasons to do it. Otherwise, you must follow whatever is given by the ICAI. And in some guidance notes on the very first page, that is the preface, they have clearly written that this guidance note is mandatory. That means there you don't have an option also to follow your own judgment, even if there are valid reasons, exceptional circumstances. So what I'm trying to tell you is that 99% guidance notes are recommendatory unless institute has given it on the first page that this guidance note is mandatory. If the guidance note is mandatory, then we'll treat that guidance note like a statement only. Alright. So everyone over here, you need to write the meaning of the word recommendatory. The word recommendatory means we must follow the guidance given in the guidance note. We must follow the guidance given in the guidance note unless there are valid reasons to follow our own judgment. We must follow the guidance given in the guidance note unless there are valid reasons to follow our own judgment. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. So now listen to me. Guidance notes on accounting matter. If the first page is silent on guidance note, then by default it is recommendatory only. Guidance note on auditing matter. When we talk about guidance note on accounting matter, assume that it is recommendatory as of now, because if it is mandatory, we treat it like a statement only. Alright. If there is a guidance note on accounting matter, assume it is recommendatory. Alright. Then in that case, management can follow their own judgment if they have valid reasons. But then, remember your FR professors, favorite dialogue of your FR professors, ask them to write it in the notes to accounts. Whatever extra you're doing, write it in the notes to accounts. Alright. So, guidance note on accounting matter, if management follows its own judgment, there are two possibilities: valid reasons, invalid reasons. Invalid reasons and they are following their own judgment, then somewhere it has to come in your audit report, where in the audit report and stuff that will be covered in the subsequent lectures. I have one full lecture on audit report, so relax as of now. Alright. But if there are valid reasons, they should disclose it properly in the notes to accounts. Adequately disclosed in the financial statements. Inadequately disclosed in the financial statements. If it is inadequately disclosed in the financial statements, again it will get into audit report. Correct. But if it is adequately disclosed in the financial statements, there are valid reasons also. Then some auditors may take a stand that although they don't want to give a negative remark in the audit report, but they just want to highlight this in the audit report, just voluntarily. Some auditors may say it is okay, bro. What they have done, they have valid reasons. They have also disclosed in the notes to accounts, which is enough. I don't want to further highlight it in the audit report. And all these stands are acceptable. So over here, auditor may or may not mention it in audit report. Over here, auditor may or may not mention it in audit report. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. But see, this is what Pragnesh sir is giving you. When you look at what institute has given, they have just covered it very simply. Guidance notes are recommendatory nature and stuff. All of that is fine. Guidance note on accounting matter. A member should examine whether the recommendations in a guidance note relating to an accounting matter have been followed or not. If the same have not been followed, the member should consider whether, keeping in view the circumstances of the case, a disclosure in his report is necessary. Alright, look at this. Whether, keeping in view the circumstances of the case, a disclosure in his report is necessary. Whereas when we talk about statement on accounting matters, if management is not following it, straight away they were asking you to write it in your audit report. But that may not be the case in case of guidance note, because you drew the whole chart, right? That how your mind should function when it comes to guidance note. Correct? That is why over here also you may or may not mention it audit report, but in these cases you will for sure mention it in your audit report. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. That is why their English was, auditor should determine whether, depending upon the facts and circumstances of the case, a disclosure in the report would be necessary or not. MCQ level questions here. Okay, everyone over here. For guidance note on auditing matter, assume it is recommendatory. Alright. Auditor may follow it. In fact, he should normally follow it. But if he has valid reasons, he can follow his own judgment. Alright. If auditor has valid reasons, these reasons you should document, not in the audit report, right? But at least in the working papers. If auditor has valid reasons, then he may follow his own judgment. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Alright. So that is what they are trying to say over here. Guidance note on accounting matter, guidance note on auditing matter, statement on accounting matter, statement on auditing matter. I just wanted you to get into the scheme of the things. That is the reason that I went through it. Alright. Now that is fine. You can just read this once, this whole page, and you will feel much more confident that Pragnesh sir has covered all the points over here in the note that he gave us. Okay. Don't worry about it. So students, I have discussed, the origin of standards, like the global body, India mein kya hai, and all of that. I've also discussed about, the classification of standards, SQC, SA, SRE, SA, SRS, and all of that. I've also discussed about statement and guidance notes, just that because we'll be using the references and stuff. Now the time has come that let us dive deeper. All right. And you will love this whole segment that I'm going to teach. That is basic concepts for standards on auditing. Because if you don't know these concepts, I really cannot take you forward in audit subject. But once you know this, we are going to just, move ahead like a rocket. All right. Sorry for blasting your headphones up till now. Now everyone over here. Before I move ahead, tell me, let us say, this is also for standards auditing, means audit of historical financial statements. Tell me, let us say that there is a partnership firm, all right, and that partnership firm wants to appoint practicing chartered accountant as an auditor of the audit of historical financial statements of the partnership firm. That partnership firm is not required to get audited under any act as of now because the business is very small, but they just want to voluntarily appoint practicing chartered accountants and get their historical financial statements audited from such practicing chartered accountants. All right. Voluntary audit. This is not a stat audit. So the partners of the partnership firm are requesting, all right, that please just keep standards just for guidance. Otherwise, the whole audit should be done in accordance with our agreement that we will sign with you. And we will give you the list of audit procedures that we want you to cover and the list of items that we want you to cover in your audit. Tell me, my dear students, are you going to agree with this? If your answer is yes, then you are a very flexible chartered accountant. 10 years down the line, if there is a corporate scam, I will for sure search for your name. Boss, I am not going to agree with this, at least not on record. No, off the record also you should not agree. It may be a voluntary audit, that is fine. But boss, once you accept audit of historical financial statements, it can be statutory, voluntary, whatever it is mandatory for you to follow standards on auditing as issued by the ICAI. Sir, where is it written? See, you have, if you go to the ICAI website, you will see a very big PDF or a very bulky book called as Auditing Pronouncements. All right. Technically, these standards are called as Auditing Pronouncements. All right. Professional announcements which are compulsory to be followed. Okay. Now listen to me. There in the first page, that is preface, they have clearly written that whenever you are conducting audit, all right, auditing is an independent examination of financial information of an entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form, and such an examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion. Swaha. Arey boss. Definition interest here. Irrespective of its size or legal form, whether profit oriented or not. This has been given where? In the auditing pronouncements. And why they have given it? Because no matter whichever entity you are auditing, you have to follow standards auditing. See, you may have the final answer. No, we will have to follow standards and that is mandatory. But where is it written? Oh, yeah. So everyone over here, whenever we discuss about applicability of standards in auditing, irrespective of nature, size and legal form of an entity, auditor must follow SAs, standards on auditing, while auditing historical financial statements. Yes sir. Alright. Now look at this basic concepts for standards on auditing. Premise upon which audit is conducted. Premise means the base upon which audit is conducted. Come on, yaar, interest here. Audit of historical financial statements. Come on. Preparation, presentation of financial statements is the responsibility of management. Yes. Prevention, detection of fraud and error is the primary responsibility of management. Auditor's primary duty is to play dandiya. Express an opinion on the financial statements. Auditor needs to maintain an attitude of bow, professional skepticism. Auditor is a watchdog, not a bloodhound. He cannot start with a suspicious mind. I hope you remember this, right? Although it is interesting, final year professor is going to repeatedly say about this, but it is my duty to get in touch with all of that because I'm going to use it. Tell me, is auditor auditing to detect fraud? No, sir. Auditor is a professional examiner, sir. And that is why auditor is going to conduct a professional examination. He is not here to detect fraud. However, If there is an elephant in the room and we say that, oh my God, all right, I just could not see the elephant, then this is a problem in your eyes, all right, not in the situation. So, while conducting audit, if auditor finds something suspicious, then can I say is expected to investigate further? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Auditor can be held liable for fraud only if it is proved that he was grossly negligent in the conduct of his duties. So, everyone over here. Preparation presentation of financial statements is the responsibility of management. This word you have written many times, so management and those charged with governance. Management is the one who is executing stuff. TCWG is the one who is giving strategic direction. And if I talk about examples, then management is CEO, CFO level people, and TCWG board of directors, audit committee level people. Alright, but that is just example. Theory, management is the one who is executing. TCWG is the one who is giving strategic direction. In a small company, like my company is a small company. So over there, management and TCWG, both of them one and the same. Me, my father, my mother, and my sister and my wife and all of that. All right. So all of us form a part of management as well as those charged with governance. All right. So preparation, presentation of financial statement is the responsibility of management and those charged with governance. Auditor's primary duty is to come on. Express an opinion on the, I will now use financial statements, means by default it is historical financial statements only. Express an opinion on the financial statements. Auditor needs to maintain an attitude of professional skepticism. That means questioning mind. One more English word, maintaining alertness. Prevention, detection of fraud and error. Just using different things for you to understand that I am on the next statement. Is the primary responsibility of management and those charged with governance. Auditor can be held liable for fraud only if it is proved that he was grossly negligent in the conduct of his duties. Auditor can be held liable for fraud only if it is proved that he was grossly negligent in the conduct of his duties. That means extremely careless in the conduct of his duties. Am I clear with this? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So tell me, correct or incorrect? Prevention and detection of fraud and error is the secondary objective of the auditor. Correct. Prevention, detection of fraud and error obviously is the secondary objective of the auditor. Because one thing is very clear, my main job is to express an opinion on the financial statements, alright. But when I'm doing that, if let us say I find something suspicious, then I may jump to prevention, detection of fraud and error when I'm investigating further. So my main job was not to prevent and detect fraud and error. I may end up doing it, alright. So that is secondary objective, derived objective, incidental objective, alright. So prevention and detection of fraud and error, it is the primary responsibility of the management, but it is secondary, derived or incidental objective of auditor. This is not the main job. Alright? Done? Come on. Now you will get the feel of, okay, you are getting in touch again. Alright? If you have done inter-CA studies long back, alright, you may find it difficult to straight away cope up with final. But let us say if you just recently gave attempt of inter-CA, then you may go a little faster. Alright? Otherwise, don't do that 1.25x and 1.5x and stuff. Chalo. Now, applicable financial reporting framework. Applicable financial reporting framework, AFRF. I think you have used this statement n number of times, this applicable finance, this phrase. But let us talk about the simple meaning of applicable financial reporting framework. Right? Students, it is nothing but the set of guidelines based upon which entity prepares the financial statements. So if I talk about companies, Schedule 3 and AS or Ind AS, when I combine it, it is nothing but AFRF of the company. When I talk about banking system, AS plus Banking Regulation Act 1949, the format given over there, when I combine it, it is nothing but the AFRF of the bank. Alright. So every entity has its own AFRF, applicable financial reporting framework. Where there is no law applicable to the entity, then entity will use based upon generally accepted accounting principles. But as an auditor, it is very important for me to obtain a clear understanding of the applicable financial reporting framework of the entity. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. All right. So इधर देखो, financial reporting framework adopted by management and where appropriate those charged with governance in the preparation and presentation of financial statements. Perfect. So the guidelines based upon which entity prepares financial statements. The guidelines based upon which entity prepares financial statements, that is applicable financial reporting framework. But I want to dive deeper into this. Everyone now, whatever applicable financial reporting framework they are using has to be acceptable. If you get an audit of Tirupati Balaji Trust, right, you cannot say that, boss, okay, show me your balance sheet and P&L. They will not have P&L, they will have income and expenditure account. It's a trust here. So whatever they are preparing has to be acceptable in view of the nature of the entity, in view of the objective of the financial statements. All right? And whatever they are doing should be as per laws and regulations. Correct? Okay. Now listen to me very carefully. When I talk about financial statements, there are two types of financial statements. One is GPFS, General Purpose Financial Statements. Even for historical financial statements, there are two types of financial statements. General Purpose Financial Statements. That company final accounts, balance sheet, P&L you are preparing, it's an historical financial statement. It's a general purpose. That means those financial statements will be used by all the stakeholders. Right? And then we have SPFS. Special Purpose Financial Statements. Listen to me. These financial statements are prepared for some specific users of financial statements. For example, let us say that you are conducting audit of a company and that company is preparing separate set of balance sheet and P&L with a completely different format just for an internal reporting to the parent entity. Right? And let us say you are getting audit of such special purpose financial statements. Let me tell you, audit of special purpose financial statements is separately covered in SA 800. Whereas the stat audit, the normal audit of general purpose financial statements which we are seeing in the market, right, that is SA 200 to SA 720. Alright. So general purpose financial statements are financial statements prepared to serve common information needs of all users. Whereas special purpose financial statements are the ones prepared to serve specific information needs of the intended users of financial statements. Am I clear with this? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But wait, the real discussion comes now. Tell me, I don't know whether you have done this practically or you would have heard from your friends, or at least in your FR lectures, maybe somewhere here and there you would have heard that whenever we are dealing with corporates, the company final accounts, correct? Schedule 3, AS, Ind AS, all of that is fine. Let us say there are 45 disclosures to be given as per Schedule 3, AS, Ind AS, and management has given 45 notes to accounts. Still, we can ask management, that management, 2 more notes, please. Because, these 2 adjustments are very important and, it will, ensure that your financial statements are more presentable, they are more informative and they are understood in a better manner. Sometimes, either in FR lectures you would have faced this, or you would have faced this, in your practical life, where you may ask client to give some additional disclosures beyond the ones which are already given as per the AFRF. And if your client does not listen to you, you may end up giving a negative remark also in your audit report. Now, what gives you such kind of authority? Students, if you do a detailed reading of Schedule 3 AS Ind AS, then you will realize, that inside that Schedule 3 AS Ind AS there is one line written over there, that these disclosures are minimum disclosures. Additional disclosures are supposed to be given by the management in order to achieve fair presentation. Perfect. That That is the line which gives you the authority to argue with the client to provide additional disclosures. Right? Because Schedule 3 AS Ind AS takes the effort to do something more in order to achieve fair presentation. You know what? Just go to your cooperative housing society where you are staying. If you are staying in your own private estate and stuff, alright, then fine, please invite me for a holiday. Right? But if you are staying in a cooperative housing society and stuff, just go to the secretary, ask them to show the financial statements of cooperative housing society, the worst possible financial statements that you will ever see. Because that format and stuff is given by the registrar of cooperative societies, wherever in whichever registrar they are registered. And there are so many different states which have different laws and stuff. And the only objective of the financial statements of that cooperative society accounts are that, boss, whatever format we have given, just fill up that format and give it to us. That's it. There is no other effort taken to achieve fair presentation. That means the only focus is compliance. Just comply with this. That's it. No other responsibility, added responsibility on the management to take additional effort to achieve fair presentation. Are you with me? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. So listen to me very carefully. Whenever you're talking about general purpose financial statements also, you have to analyze your client. Whether your client is preparing financial statements as per fair presentation framework, or your client is preparing financial statements as per compliance framework. Fair presentation framework means obviously it requires compliance plus additional effort to achieve fair presentation. Whereas when we talk about compliance framework, the focus is only on compliance. Alright. There is no additional effort to achieve fair presentation. There is no additional effort to achieve fair presentation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Best example of fair presentation framework is company accounts, and best example of compliance framework is most of the cooperative society accounts, not all of the cooperative societies, alright, because there are certain cooperative societies which are registered under state law, central laws and stuff, where actually there is a focus on fair presentation also. But most of the state cooperative societies laws will fall into this compliance framework stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, why are you teaching this? Why this is so important? First thing, get in your head that whenever you are accepting audit of financial statements of any entity, you should be very clear about whether it is GPFS, SPFS, and whether it is a fair presentation framework, compliance framework. So, but why? Because, let me tell you, if you are conducting audit of financial statements under fair presentation framework, then in that audit report, normally we use the phrase true and fair view or presented fairly. Download any corporate audit report, you will see this phrase. Right? But whenever you are conducting audit under compliance framework, you are not allowed to use the phrase true and fair view or presented fairly, because even though it may be true, the focus was never to achieve fair presentation. That is why the word fair we cannot use over there. Are you getting my point? Yes. Such small things are to be taken care of in audit subject, and with me I will ensure that you are a master of this. Alright. So everyone over here, fair presentation framework we can use the phrase true and fair or presented fairly while expressing an opinion. See, SA 210 talks about accepting the audit engagement, agreeing to the terms of audit engagement. And SA 700 series talks about opinion and stuff. That means right from 200 series to 700 series, this concept is going to be helpful. Right? So I repeat, fair presentation framework, we can use the phrase true and fair or presented fairly while expressing an opinion. Whereas in compliance framework, we cannot use the phrase true and fair or presented fairly while expressing opinion unless required by law. Unless it is required by law. If law requires it, then it is fine. We don't compromise with the business. So everyone over here, fair presentation framework, the focus is on compliance. Yes, that please comply whatever we have given. Additionally, please do more to achieve fair presentation. And compliance framework, the focus is only on compliance. There is no further focus, all right, to achieve fair presentation. All right. Yes, 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 and it is going to affect my audit report also. Now let me just read the English, all right, to make you more comfortable. All right? Now whatever I am doing is just to connect you with the English. The concept is clear. All right. Auditor needs to understand the nature of financial statements being audited by him. General purpose financial statements prepared to serve common information needs of the majority of the users of the financial statements. The GPFS framework is governed by, and listen, SPFS serve specific information needs of the intended users. All examples and stuff we have over here, and I have also discussed it orally. All right, your normal final accounts are GPFS only. GPFS framework is further governed by fair presentation framework, a financial reporting framework that requires compliance. Compliance for sure is required. Schedule 3 yes, Indians obviously you have to follow that. All right, with the framework, and acknowledges, means it is clearly written over there that it is necessary for the management to provide additional disclosures beyond those required by the framework. Or, I don't know whether you have felt this in inter CA or final CA in your accounts lectures, that sometimes there are some accounting treatments which you want to do logically, but the professor may say, okay, if you want to do it, then you write, do it, and that is also correct. Yeah, in the notes you can write, yeah, that is also correct. Sometimes it so happens. For a best example of this is events occurring after balance sheet date. Officially, you are supposed to take the events after the balance sheet date, AS4 or Ind AS 10, whatever it is, after the balance sheet date up to the date of approval. Let us say there is a very important event which occurred after the date of signing, but the financial statements are still with the company only. They have not been circulated amongst the shareholders. Officially, as per AS Ind AS, no further amendments are required. But as an auditor, you may feel that okay, if we actually ask management to amend the financial statements, even though the signing is done, they can again call a board meeting and again sign the fresh set of financial statements, and then we can share it with the shareholders, because that will achieve fair presentation. All of these things are judgmental, and intentionally in some areas AS Ind AS is silent because they want you to take the call. Right? AS Ind AS will not tell you that after signing don't consider the event at all. Right? They are silent. They want you to take the call. Sir, why are you saying so many things? Look at this English. Acknowledges directly that in rare circumstances, provisions, contingent liability, just imagine these things. It may be necessary to depart from a requirement of the framework to achieve fair presentation. So either there is a need to provide additional disclosures to achieve fair presentation, or it may be a requirement to depart in order to achieve fair presentation. Are you getting my point? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. But this company final accounts, they are focused not only on compliance, but they are also focused on fair presentation. Sir, is it important that we remember word by word everything? No, that is fine. Right? Little bit if you are able to remember, if you are comfortable with the concept, that's okay. As of now, that memorizing part has not yet begun. Special compliance framework, cooperative accounts, financial reporting framework that requires only compliance with the framework and does not contain the acknowledgements as specified in the fair presentation framework. That means only the compliance part is given. There is no further focus in order to achieve fair presentation. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right? So that is your concept of applicable financial reporting framework, and it should be on the tip of your tongue, at least conceptually. All right. So now, whenever you're conducting audit of financial statements which are prepared under fair presentation framework, the normal company final accounts, bindas use the phrase true and fair view and stuff. But when you are into that compliance framework and stuff, you cannot use the phrase true and fair view unless it is required by law. This is going to help me a lot when I teach you the great audit report. All right. Okay. My intention is that after my audit report lectures are done, I give you an open challenge, and you can pick up any audit report of any listed entity, all right, and if you're able to understand every single line of it, that I will consider that as success. I have some high benchmarks to consider the success. All right, chalo. So I hope that up till now you are clear, and this lecture should be very clear in your mind. Only after you have revised a little bit of this, all right, at least 15-20 minutes to revise it, then you continue with the next session. All right, more and more concepts are coming along your way in the next session. Thank you so much.